is our Raja Avula. I am Raja Avula, Faculty of History for the since long period in the field of the teaching of history for both English medium and Telugu medium. So now today I am going to express architecture of the Guptas. In the last class we discussed up to the architecture of the Guptas. Now there are few topics left to discuss in the Guptas period. One is architecture. Another one is painting, sculpture of the Guptas period, sculpture, painting, architecture, and science and technology. So these topics we'll discuss today. If we discuss these topics, we will be finished Gupta's period. We will be completely finished the Gupta's period. Now coming to the point of the architecture. Yes, architecture of the Gupta's period. Especially that is a cave architecture. In India, cave architecture is the earliest architecture started during the time of the Gupta's period. Whereas coming to the point of temple architecture in India or temple culture in India, this was started by the Kushanas. As we consider that Guptas are feudatories of the Kushanas. Guptas were the feudatories of Kushanas. So many historians, they thought that the architectural culture of the Kushanas brought by the Guptas and they developed. That was opinion. So whatever it may be, cave temples were the first temple architecture. The earliest religious architecture were the cave temples, which typically exteriors decorated with the relief of sculpture and single carved doorways. There would be the single carved doorways in the cave temples. Especially cave temples, coming to the point of the cave temples, Chaitya, Vihara cave temples. Chaityas and Vihara cave temples, they are located at Ajanta and also Ellora. Ajanta, Ellora cave temples are Chaityas and Viharas. Chaityas, Viharas, these two completely belongs to the Buddhism and Jainism, especially Buddhism. These were the best specimens of architecture of Gupta's period. Ajanta caves in South India, Ajanta caves in Maharashtra, there also contain some of the earliest, finest examples of wall paintings. You can also find wall paintings in the Ajanta. Wall paintings, especially they speaks about life of Buddha. These wall paintings speaks about the life of Buddha. Like there are in the Ajanta caves, Bhusparsha Mudra, the painting of the Bhusparsha Mudra for Gupta's, that is life of the Gautama Buddha, it related to the Buddhism. In that point, it is most important, what is that? Bhusparsha Mudra. This already I explained to you at the time of Buddhism. Whenever Buddha was in the meditation, Buddha was disturbed by a spirit of a king called Mara. But by that time Buddha, he touched the earth's palm. With his palm he touched the earth. That is thunder occurred. That is what called as Bhusparsha Mudra. So this was also you can find in the cave structure of the Ajanta. The cave temples, Buddhist rock temples, rock cut temples of the Gupta's period located Ajanta, Maharashtra, Ajanta and also as well as Maharashtra. Guptas also built first Hindu cave temples at Udaygiri. Along with the Buddhist Hindu cave temples, we can also found the Hindu cave temples at Udaygiri in Madhya Pradesh. These were belongs to the Gupta's period. They were belongs to the Gupta's period. And these Hindu temples were the Vaishnava temples. They are especially Vaishnava temples. So, structural temples in North India, that means one structure giving one beautiful structure to the temple, that was started by the Gupta's period. First time Guptas, they constructed structural temples in the North India. Guptas were the first to construct structural temples in the North India. That is important. After this, if you come to the point of the South India, in the South India, Ikshvakus were the first people. Ikshvakus, they were the first people who started the structural temples of at Udaygiri, that is Vijaypuri. Vijaypuri, that is in the located in Nagarjuna Hills. Originally, that Vijaypuri was the Ikshvakus capital of the Ikshvakus. Coming to the point of the temples of Gupta's period, which are given. Kankali Devi temple at Jabalpur, Vishnu and Varaha temples at Yaran, that is there in the Madhya Pradesh, Parvati temple and Mahadeva temples, these two are Nachna Kotara in Madhya Pradesh. Most of the temples are located in Madhya Pradesh. Dasavatara temple, Devagar near Jhansi, Dasavatara temple located at Uttar Pradesh. One ruined temple, Bittargaon, near Bittargaon, there occurred one ruined temple at Kanpur, that is Sikhara or Nagara style. This ruined temple gives the style of the Nagara style. That we will discuss later. What is the Nagara style? What is the Dravida style? Hindu temple architecture. Hindu temple architecture was in its formative stage, but was the first dynasty build permanent freestanding temples. Permanent freestanding temples were constructed by the Guptas. They used bricks. There are some brick temples. So examples are the Bittargaon temple at Dasavatara, Dasavatara temple at Devagar, Bittargaon temple at Kanpur. These two temples are constructed with bricks. These two temples were constructed with bricks. Remaining temples they constructed with stones. These are the examples of the temples which were constructed with bricks. Especially the walls of the temples, they are decorated. Walls of the temples were also decorated with sculptures which was taken from the, what is that deities? Either Hindu deities, we can find Hindu deity temples, and also common lifestyle, scenes from the common lifestyle, everyday lifestyle. These we can find in on the walls of the temples. Next, the earliest stone temple is Dasavatara temple at Devagar. Earliest stone temple. It did not have any sikara, no sikara, which has no sikara. The Nagara style of the temples architecture developing during the time of the Gupta's period. We can divide Gupta's temples into 5 styles. 5 styles. We will discuss one by one. The following 5 groups of the temples. First one is flat roofed square temple. The roof was flat, the temple in the square. So like this, flat roofed square temple. Flat roofed square temple is example of the Dravidian style. You can take it as a Dravidian style, example of the Dravidian style. Example of this first may be temple number 17 in the Sanchi. Example of this one is temple number 7 at Sanchi. So this group of the temples forms the period of the basis of future elaboration. Next to second type of the temple, flat roofed square temple with second story, that is Vimana, with the second story. There are 2 stories. This is a temple with a 2-story roof, was flat roof. This roof was a flat roof. These temples we can find at Bhumara, Nachna Kotara Parvati temple, Bhumara Shiva temple are related to second this one. This is also called as Vimana. The stories, the temple which is constructing with stories, this is called as Vimana. Vimana means it elevated to the highest. It elevated to the height. That is what called as Vimana. Elevating to the long height, called as Vimana. Vimana is a special feature of the Dravidian style of architecture. Dravidian style of architecture. So these 2 types of the architectural styles are primitive form of the Dravidian architecture. Primitive form of the Dravidian architecture styles. The group of the temples shows the characteristic features of the Dravidian style. Just now I told to you. Next, coming to the point of the third, square temple with a tower. Above there is a tower. That is the third group is represented the Devagar temple and Bittargan temples. The importance of this group lies in the innovation of Sikara or tower that caps the sanctum, the main feature of the Nagara style. Nagara style of the temples looks like this. This is Nagara style of temple having a Sikara. Above the sanctum sanctorium, and above the sanctum sanctorium, if they constructed Vimana, this style is called as South Indian Dravidian style. This is Dravidian style. This is Sikara, that is Nagara style. This is Nagara style of the architecture. This is Dravidian style of the architecture. See the difference between these two. Later period developed this Nagara style of the architecture. That is the best example. After this, you can take the best example of the Nagara style of the architecture. Puri Jagannatha temple, later period, after the Guptas. And best example of the Dravidian architecture, Rajarajeshwara temple at Tanjavur. So these 2 temples you can remember. Fourth one, rectangular temples. These rectangular temples are Kapoleswara temple as well as Durga temple. Kapoleswara temple as well as the Durga temple are found at Aihole. Aihole in Karnataka. It is located in Karnataka. It is located in Karnataka. Next, fifth group is the circular temples. These circular temples, fifth type of the temple, circular temple, that is Maniyar Mutt. The example of this is Maniyar Mutt. This type of the temple, Maniyar Mutt. The first 3 types may be regarded as the forerunners of the medieval Indian architecture. This is Sikara style. That is what? First 2 styles are the Dravidian styles. Third style is Sikara style. These types of the architectural temples are forerunners in the medieval period. Rectangular temples, so those who found at Aihole, this temple is example of the latter period development of Vesara style of the architecture. There are three types of the architectural styles developed in India during the early medieval period: Dravidian architecture, Nagara architecture, that is what Sikhara, Vesara style of the architecture. Latter period Nagara Dravida style of the architecture was developed by the Pallavas and Cholas. Nagara style of the architecture, it was developed by the Eastern Gangas and also Rashtrakutas. Especially Rashtrakuta temple, that is Kailasnath temple at Ellora. Kailasnath temple at Ellora belongs to the Nagara style. Vesara style of the temples, Aihole temples are belongs to the Vesara type of the temples. Even best example for this Vatapi Ganapati temple in the square form. These are in the square form. Yes, sir. The earliest structure of the Nalanda University created during the period was also the brick construction. Gupta's era is Indian temple architecture is indissoluble. This is what the Gupta's tetra-style, pro-style Gupta period, a temple at Sanchi, this located at Sanchi. This is belongs to the 5th century BC. This temple belongs to the 5th century BC. And this temple, Dasavatara temple at Devagar. This Dasavatara temple, it has Sikhara as well as Dravida, both. This you can see this is considered as a Sikhara, and but this style is considered as a Dravida style of the architecture. Combination of both. Dasavatara temple. Next temple. This is purely Nagara style of the temple, Mahabodhi temple. This belongs to the 5th century AD. Next temple. This is a Vishnu temple at Iran. Just it is a Vishnu temple at Iran. It is in the form of rectangular. After this, coming to the point of the pillars of Gupta's period. This is a pillar of the Gupta period. This pillar belongs to the Chandragupta II. Mehrauli, this is located at Mehrauli at present. Mehrauli iron pillar inscription. Exactly, it is located nearby Qutub Minar. The peculiar feature of this pillar is, even though it has been completed 1600 years, it did not get rusted. Even though exposed to the air, nature, what is that, rainfall and sun rays, it exposed to the rainfall, it exposed to the sun rays, it exposed to the nature, but it did not get rusted. This was the development of chemistry, that is metallurgy during the time of the Gupta's period. That we will discuss during the science and technology. This is another pillar. This has been taken from the Bithari. It is belongs to the Skandagupta period. This pillar belongs to the Skandagupta period. Yes. This is Jain Kaham temple, Kahal pillar. It is also belongs to the Skandagupta period. Another pillar, it is Buddhagupta period. This pillar belongs to the Buddhagupta period. Those are the Gupta's pillars. Coming to the point of the Gupta's paintings. Paintings, especially Gupta paintings, one can find in caves, Ajanta caves. The mural paintings of the Ajanta caves, mostly they illustrate the life of the Buddha, and also they illustrate depicts in the Jataka stories. Especially the paintings of Ajanta caves, they are belongs to the Buddha, and also life of the Buddha, some styles of the life of the Buddha, and some Jataka tales of Buddha, Jataka stories. There are different Jataka stories. Nearly 550 Jataka stories are there related to the Buddha. Next, the paintings at Sigiriya in Sri Lanka. Sigiriya in Sri Lanka, these paintings are influenced by the paintings of Ajanta. With the influencing of the Ajanta paintings, they painted at Ceylon. That means Ajanta paintings influenced even in the Ceylon. That we can understand. Bagh caves near Gwalior, they are also represent the paintings of Gupta's period. The paintings of this age reserved the wall frescoes. Frescoes means only one face, side angle, Ajanta and Bagh caves. Number 16 and 17 frescoes of the Ajanta, certainly they belongs to the Gupta's period. Cave number 16, you have to remember, this is most important for the examination point of view. Cave number 16 and cave number 17. What is there in the cave number 16? Cave number 16, dying princess. One dying princess lay down on the deathbed. He was laid down on the deathbed. She was laid down on the deathbed. One lying princess. And another one, cave number 17, the mother and the child. Mother giving feeding to the child. That was another beautiful. These two are the beautiful monuments, beautiful paintings of Gupta's period. And the vast frescoes of the Ajanta depicted the life events of Buddha, that already we discussed. Different events of Buddha and different gods, goddesses like Yaksha, Yakshini. You can also find Yaksha, Yakshini, flowers, birds, animals. These were the subjects of paintings of the Gupta's period. The paintings of Gupta's period were especially coming to the point of the paintings of Gupta's period, you have to remember only this is 16 and 17 caves. This is most important. Next to sculpture of the Gupta's period. Sculpture. The sculpture of the Gupta's period, mainly you can find in Madhya Pradesh and Bihar areas. Like man boar. That boar means Varaha. That was the image you can find at Udaigiri hills in Madhya Pradesh. Here Vishnu is shown as Varaha. That is Varahavatara. Varahavatara of Lord Vishnu you can find at Madhya Pradesh, Udaigiri hills. And Guptas, because Guptas were the Vaishnavas, Guptas they also worship the boar, that is Varaha. They also worship the boar. We could find copper statue of the Buddha. This is most important. Copper statue of the Buddha, which was found at Sultanganj of the Bihar. Copper statue of Buddha, asked in the earlier examinations. Where it was found? Sultanganj of Bihar. It was found at Sultanganj of the Bihar. Here they given the height of the copper statue is 7.5 feet and weight 1 ton. Right now it is found in the Birmanganj Museum. Birmangham Museum Art Gallery. You can find it at the Art Gallery. So Gupta's period Gupta art mainly includes paintings of that period. Gupta Empire paintings also found in the Ajanta caves at Maharashtra. Ajanta caves, all this we already discussed. Cave number 31. Actually, there are 31 caves in the Ajanta. These 31 caves, they gives the horoscope of the shape of range more than 500 meters. Some of them viharas and chaityas. In some caves, find beautiful fresco and mural paintings of that period. The paintings of Ajanta, 500 in number. Originally they are 500 in number. Jatakas, I told to you, Jatakas are the 500 in number. All these Jatakas, actually in some books they used to say 550, 549 times Buddha born earlier, 550 times Buddha born as a Buddha. That was there in the Sutta Pitaka. The caves built one period. Cave number 9 and 10 belongs to the Satavahanas period of that Ajanta caves. The last caves built belongs to the 8th century AD. Actually, this is the description of the Ajanta caves. There are nearly 31 Ajanta caves. 31 Ajanta caves. Out of these 31 Ajanta caves, 9th cave and 10th cave belongs to the Satavahanas period. Latter belongs to the Gupta's period and all. Gupta's period and all. Next, science and technology, development of science and technology during the time of the Gupta's period. This is also most important because Gupta's period is considered as golden age for the literature, golden age for the art and architecture, golden age for the paintings, golden age for the science and technology. It is golden age for the science and technology. So India has much advanced knowledge in the field of the mathematics, astronomy, all these are there in the, even we have during the time of the Vedic period. World is running with Vedic maths. Even world is running with Vedic maths, Vedic mathematics. Arabs, they borrowed knowledge from India and they spread our science and technology knowledge to the European countries. Originally, zero was invented by the Indians, but Europeans, they used to say Arabs used zero first time. Because Arabs, they carried Indian knowledge to the European countries. The mathematics and astronomy of the Vedic period, it is a development of India. Aryabhatta, he was a great mathematician. Aryabhatta in Kusumpura at the age of the 23 years, he wrote a book called Aryabhattiya. Aryabhattiya, this was the book written by the Aryabhatta at the age of the 23 years. He wrote at Kusumpura, that is also known as Pataliputra. Pataliputra, other name of the Pataliputra is Kusumpura. This you have to remember. Aryabhattiya divided into 4 parts. The most important feature of the Aryabhatta's mathematical system was the unique system of the notation. He was the first person in the world those who used the value of zero. Aryabhatta, he used the value of zero and he introduced how to use the zero and also decimal system to the world, ancient period. Aryabhatta explained various principles of geometry and triangle, area of the triangle and area of the circle. All these were explained by the Aryabhatta. After the Aryabhatta, next the famous mathematician of that period, Brahmagupta. Brahmagupta, he was also very famous mathematician. Very famous mathematician, Brahmagupta. He wrote Brahma Siddhanta. Brahmagupta wrote Brahma Siddhanta in 628 AD. Belongs to the Gupta's period. Brahmagupta, he calculated the area of triangle when they gave the length of the sides. The length of the sides. If they given the length of the sides like this ABC, what is the area of the triangle? If you come to the point of the area of the triangle is square root of s into s minus a into s minus b into s minus c. This is s is equal to a plus b plus c by 2. This already calculated by the Brahmagupta in ancient period. Along with this, he began to apply algebra to the astronomical problems. Jyotisha was the term used for the astronomy and astrology by the Varahamihira. And one thing you have to note from the Brahmagupta, he also explained about the earth gravitational force and almost law of motion. That's why he was called as Indian Newton. Brahmagupta is called as Indian Newton. That you should remember, asked several times in the examination. Very, very, very important. That is, Brahmagupta is called as Indian Newton. Later, come to the point of the Varahamihira. Varahamihira, he was also very popular. Varahamihira wrote Bruhat Samhita, Panchasiddhantika. Varahamihira wrote Bruhat Samhita, Panchasiddhantika, and also he wrote Bruhat Jataka. All these books were related to the astronomy and astrology. He was a popular person in the court of the Chandragupta II, Varahamihira. During the time of the Chandragupta II period, he was very popular person. Panchasiddhantika consists of the 5 works, especially Paitamaha, Romaka, Paulisa, Vasistha and Surya. All these 5 works called as Panchasiddhanta. Surya Siddhanta, the most important and complete work of the astronomy in the Gupta's period. Varahamihira wrote Bruhat Samhita. This is considered as a encyclopedia work of the astrology. Even till today, most of the astrologists, they used to open Bruhat Samhita whenever they have doubt on the astrology. They used to go to the Bruhat Samhita. Varahamihira's son Prithihasas also wrote a book called Astronomy, that is Harastha Panchaka. Harastha Panchasika was written by the Varahamihira's son Prithihasa. After this, medicine, how they developed in the medicine, Ayurveda developed during that period. Science of longevity. Ayurveda means, the meaning of Ayurveda, it is a science of longevity. Ayurveda means you have to live long period. Longevity means living the long period. This is the name of the Indian medical science. It originated during the Vedic period. Vedic literature, particularly Atharvana Veda, it speaks about the medicine. Atharvana Veda speaks about the medicine. By that period, what are the medical evidences? Especially the medical evidences are the amulets. They used to wear amulets. Mantras and tantrics. Black magic. They used to believe the black magic, mantras and tantrics, black magic. And tayat, they used to use the tayat, that is amulets. Amulets are tying on the, what is that, tayat, those who used to tie on the arm fit. So these are especially mentioned in the Ayurveda. It is consists of the more than 700 hymns, topics related to the Ayurveda. Nearly 700 hymns, 700 topics were related to the Ayurveda in the Atharvana Veda. And Hastha Ayurveda, especially it is belongs to the, what is that book on the animal diseases, especially about the elephants. This Hastha Ayurveda, it is written by the Palakapya. According to some evidences, Hastyayurveda, this book was written by the Palakapya. It speaks about animal diseases. It speaks about the animal diseases. Next to Ashwashastra. It was written by a sage called Salihotra. Salihotra wrote Ashwashastra. It speaks about horses. It speaks about diseases of the horses. Metallurgy, coming to the point of the metallurgy of that period. Chemistry was another science which has been developed. Metallurgy related to the chemistry. Nagarjuna, they used to use the work of the Nagarjuna. Based on the Nagarjuna's Acharya Nagarjuna, he wrote originally he was a Mahayanist. He wrote a book called Rasa Siddhanta, Loha Shastra. He used a book called Loha Shastra. This book speaks about metallurgy. It was very popular book during the time of the Gupta's period. Guptas, they used this book for the metallurgy. Mehroli, that already I told to you, Mehroli iron pillar inscription. It was constructed Mehroli iron pillar inscription made with the help of the Loha Shastra. The most important thing is mixing of metals for the manufacturing of this pillar. For example, if you take the gold ornament, you cannot use completely gold for the making of gold ornaments. For example, 916. 916 means Kadium. It is a Kadium. 916 Kadium means 91.6% gold. Another 8.4% is another materials. Any metals like zinc, copper, whatever it may be. Other metals. If you use copper or other metals adding to the gold, then only you can make ornament. That is, mixing of the metal is most important. The portraits and progress of the metallurgy achieved 1500 years ago. This is Mehroli iron pillar inscription, surviving without rusting since establishment, that is completed already 1600 years. Yeah, this is about the Gupta's art and architecture and Gupta's paintings. Everything has been completed regarding the Gupta's period. In the next video, we will discuss about the other topic like Harshavardhana. In the next video, we will discuss about the Harshavardhana. Okay, good luck.